Land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome in. Trust and pray you're having a great day as we invite you to be a part of what Joel Wilson talks about the Fly Day Friday. Well, you want to know more, you got to join him with Doc and Carl on the 3 to 6 Super Mix to hear all the best shots, playing. That's back in the day in the 70s when we would refer to music as a shot. Nowadays, who knows? Is it at your favorite watering hole or is it foolishly from the barrel of a gun? Well, seems to be everybody's suffering from that ID10T. 8949-837-949-6990 is going to be, looks like, until our friends expected from the ministry to talk about the Cayman Emancipation Day celebrations, if that materializes. If not, 12:30, we're going to have a good company and conversation with the folks over at the Family Resource Center to talk about Teen Pregnancy Prevention Month. 1 o'clock, a very somber, sobering subject that we're going to discuss relative to suicides, and I say to you, it's a challenging day yesterday and today even more so. Well, we'll cap it off at 2 p.m. with a little bit of dance. So stay tuned for a talk today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard.
And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. It's, almost in the words of that song, it's a quarter past and thereabouts. Well, no, it's more like 23, on the way to half past the midday hour. 8949-837 or 1-800-534-8255. We're told that at some point may materialize, but for now, well, it's just, like many things, a fun number that has gone to the margins. Well, what's on your mind? It's a Friday, and we're going into a weekend. Some would share, well, why is it weak? Why can't it be, strong? Well, it's not just semantics and the way we use word choices, but the way we are influenced and empowered, and sometimes sort of dissuaded by the choice of the words we use. Many would subscribe that you speak it into being, yet we so often unconsciously just curse ourselves. Look at the way we say things. We're saying it in the affirmative, but we're shaking our heads from left to right in the negative. Other times, we'll refer to something that is quite painful and traumatizing, yet we say, oh, it's killing me. Well, is it? Let's speak it into being. Let's take this call. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, my friend, Sterling Dwayne.
Hey, listen, I thought of you. And I said, if you don't call today, I have to find your number and give you a shout just to make sure the things in the land of the bluff is even better. How are you, my friend? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, my friend. I am good. And how are you?
I am. Tell you the honest truth, the way I felt yesterday is an indication of how I feel inside. Not the most engaged and enthusiastic and energized, but I have to, believe that it's going to be better. I've got to be encouraged and empowered, and so I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, man, you got to keep a positive vibe about yourself. So
there you go, man. It's a spirit. Man. It's the spirit inside, right?
Yeah, that's the motivation of every day moving and going. That's what it takes. But I was just calling to say something because I want to get on to a show this morning, but I was unable to. He had some guests on speaking about lands and beaches and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to call anything out and say that, people are giving or telling lies or anything. I don't want to use some kind of terms.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to use a term such as false information. And now I want to use that term.
Or statements inconsistent with the truth? I mean, just...
Not consistent, inconsistent with the truth.
No, I just saying that generally, not in relation to what's going on. Okay.
Just a pretty way of putting it. But what I'm saying is they were given information about Kim and Brock having 14 beaches. Sterling, there's no such thing on Kim and Brock as having 14 beaches. The government put in place this rubbish that you see on the side of the road about beach access. And one gentleman there, I can't remember his name, but he always call you, and I love to listen to him talk. He was the first one called regarding it. Because they're putting up these signs about beach access. There's no beach. It should be called shore access, not beach. Because if you make attempt to go on those so-called beaches that they putting these signs on, and the guy said it, he nailed it on the head this morning, and that's how it is here, Kim and Brock. Because we don't have no beaches, we have Shingle Beach and Rock and these. And he spoke about the slipper rocks that you stand on them. Somebody got serious will get hurt. That is what we have here. Shingle Beach with these sharp rocks and these smooth rocks that has moss growing on them. Like if you step, I like when I seen them did it first. Helicopter can't even land on it. It's so bad. The shore side that they go, the seaside that they got these implemented these beach access. The water is about a foot deep, and there's no way you can swim out there. There's no point of your swimming there because of possibility of sharks in the area. Most of them are on the south side. They got a few on the north side as well. But there's no such thing as beach access. There are not 14 beaches on Kim and Brock. There are only 3 beaches on Kim and Brock, and whether people like it or not, I am telling you that the majority of the proper places that you can swim, Scott Development had to make one. Tiara Beach has one that they went and sold everything out there. I keep writing about that all the time. About that. You hear me bringing that up all the time. That should have been what they had bought for the Brock, for the people to use, because that was a good stretch of a land, a piece of property about pretty close to 1,000 feet in sand beach. That is what they should have bought for the Brockers in order is still letting Dart come in and take it over. They have another section which is down by Brock Reef, and you got to be guests at the hotel to walk that. They got public beach up at the inn. That is sometimes usable, sometimes you can't use it. Because you can go on the sand and sun, but you can't go in the water. Because of the seas on the south always rough, it's always muddy in there. So they don't really use that often. Tourists will use it, but not the locals as often. So where they come up with these 14 beaches on Kim and Brock, Sterling, like I say, I don't want to call people liars, but when they have these things written down and they're not proven facts, it is sad to know that they have to implement them things into people's ears for people to think that they have something here on the Brock. We have absolutely nothing. Nothing. And what they gave us as beach access are a danger to people's health. It shouldn't have been put there. And I don't know who went ahead and did that, which government official or which parliament official or whoever it was. But they should not have did that, because if someone goes out there and get hurt, it's going to be a bad sue against the Cayman Islands government for implementing something so stupid as what they did. And it's sad to know, like I say, it's really sad to know that we here sitting here on Cayman Brock, we know better. And hear the people in Cayman talking these things on the radio that are not true about this island, and is trying to make people believe. If we had 14 beaches on this island, Sterling, don't you think that we would have had a cruise ship come in here every week? Come on, man. I mean, come on. The line must be drawn. for people to stop putting out false information on Kim and Brock. They're trying to paint a portrait of Kim and Brock prettier than what is. It is no portrait here on Kim and Brock because we have nothing, and the government don't want us to get nothing. Because when we have a chance to get something, it turns around and make private investors come in and grab it up from under our feet, and we end up with nothing.
Yeah, but I mean, unless
you got on a tough pair of shoes, you go out there, you walk through them sea eggs in order to jump off the shore.
Yeah, well, this is where, as you share, a couple of things immediately comes to mind. We who know should speak and ensure that what is said and done is an accurate reflection, but also, from, it's implying from some of the things, we can infer that the parliamentarians have to be on the same page. The government policy has to reflect the wishes of the people, but it's for the populace to ensure that whatever is purchased in relation to beach is done so for the betterment of society. So thanks very much for sharing with us. All right.
Yeah, man, bro, no problem. I'll talk with you again another time.
And listen, I hope it don't be so long again, man. All the best. Have a great weekend.
No, I know do that, man, bro.
All the best, bro.
All right.
Thanks. And with respect, Mr. Carl, let's just shift gears, get our guests lined up. When we come back, we invite you to be a part of our discussion. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
The mission of the National Conservation Council and the Department of Environment has worked to protect and conserve the unique plants, animals, and habitats that make the Cayman Islands so special. Learn more at conservation.ky.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet. Because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymanational.com today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And as we get a chance to join our good friends from the Family Resource Center to talk about Teen Pregnancy Prevention Month, just a reminder at 1 p.m., Dr. Borden, Hope, and Miss Jackie will be a guest, and we'll have that conversation. But, well, to Ms. Tugman, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
I'm good, Sterling. Thank you so much.
You know, I reminded a comment from one of my sisters. She says, you know, work will always be there. The people with whom you work, the example that they set, their determination, their dedication, their discipline, but also what they bring to the table, their work ethic, makes you want to go to work. And I can see through you and your colleagues, you guys are just amazing. So thank you very much. All right. Good day, right? It's a good day. It's a good day.
It's a good day. Happy Friday.
Good day for some fish. All right. Well, thanks. And I'm hoping that through conversations like this, we get people to be aware, informed, educated, and cognizant of the importance of our choices, the impact now, 10 years from now, and even a generation or two from now. Sometimes we don't appreciate that. You know, things take a while. So this is good. Yep. So set up the stage for us today.
Well, so I'm back again, 3 weeks consecutive, but it's good to be here to talk about Teen Pregnancy Prevention Month. So my name is Alicia Tugman. I work at the Family Resource Center alongside Marisha Spencer.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
And so we're both parent practitioners, and we've also been here co-hosting with Dr. Stone from Ocean Med. He's an OBGYN, and he's not a stranger on island. I think everybody knows who does.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, so thank you again for being here to have some more healthy discussions on adolescent health and relationships, and how we can also have a safe start. And that's this year's theme, is #SafeStart. So it's just very important for us to open these conversations and to also invite parents who are listening to be open to having these discussions and knowing about their adolescents' health and development. And I know sex and relationships is a taboo topic in our society. So it's very good to kind of set the stage and also invite parents to be, I guess, up to date, right, with what's going on. Yeah.
And I kind of wish that we'll have these discussions more often, and not just for us talking to teens or us as teens talking amongst ourselves, but even us as parents and even grandparents having open, frank discussions. I want to maybe sort of, before I ask Ms. Marisha to jump in, go to Dr. Stone from a couple of perspectives. I'm thinking to the television or whatever this nonsense is called these days, and we look at, say, Europe versus North America. There was a time when on the screens you can take two, put them side by side. One would probably show a lot of violence, a lot of profanity, a lot of gore, and we say, oh, that's okay. The other one, there might be sexual scenes, nudity, and oh, that's horrible. And yet, in the society where there's this violence constant, maybe there's more violence in that society, from the shootings in public spaces to all the other things. I asked that, Dr. Stone, from the perspective, do we think as adults that having conversations about the human body, the human mind, the human fantasy, somehow that causes us to be more susceptible to it, or perhaps be more aware of, hey, look at the consequence?
Yeah, I think that's a great concept to think about. Sterling, I think we have to think in terms of, in Europe, there's a greater appreciation and a less of a shame or stigmata with the human body to begin with. It's kind of crazy what we're seeing up north in my country, in the United States, where there is
not West Bay. I thought you said north. I was just
well, I'm talking a little more north. Okay. But it really is sad to see. But it is a point in time. It's an inflection point where our society needs to look back and say, the body is beautiful, and the body should be appreciated. It should be revered and respected, and it shouldn't be shunned, or it shouldn't be objectified. It should be celebrated and respected. And education, teaching is so important, because you can start a negative teaching slide if you start off with a parent that doesn't have knowledge. What does that say to the children of that person, and how are they going to be able to attain knowledge to uplift the next generation? So I think you've raised a good point. Having an appreciation and a respect and feel a desire to want to educate and be educated about our human body and what we can do and what we're capable of in a creative and a positive way. And I think if we have that kind of mindset, it starts to strip away from some of the unpleasant or uncomfortable feelings that we might have talking about what is kind of the elephant in the room, which is sex. And obviously for this month being Teen Pregnancy Prevention Month, that is one of the potential consequences of not having good education, having a good respect and trust for the human body and then for one another.
Yeah. And I think also in terms of the education, as you mentioned, Dr. Stone, it starts as simple as identifying the anatomy, right? So giving the correct names, because what you find is a lot of youths, even though they're exposed to media, they're hearing certain terms, they really don't have the correct terminologies, and so they're not able to really appreciate and get comfortable with who they are, and that makes them more vulnerable, to certain circumstances. So I think that's a good point you raised.
You're absolutely right. Education is so important. And when we teach our children properly and we help them to identify things properly, it gives them a foundation to grow from. If they're uncertain, if they're coming from a place of uncertainty, now they're vulnerable. And worse yet, they may start looking for places to fill their information.
Yeah.
And going back to what Sterling said, they're going to try to fill that information in the ways they are readily available, which is in social media and just basic forms of media in general can potentially send good and sometimes bad and misinformation.
Yeah, and if I'm to hop in here, but it also opens up that space for myths to kind of jump in, right? And so if we're misinformed, we don't have the right terminology, we don't know where certain parts or places are, then you have things like, well, no, yes, I can have sex, I just have to pee after. As a female, that's not how it works, right? You have your urethra, and you have your vagina. Those are two different places. But you'd be surprised at the amount of young ladies who did not know that, we pee and we also give birth from a separate place.
Correct.
So we have to start with that general education, and that starts with understanding the body and the anatomy.
And that's something where I shared this with Ms. Tugman in the past, that we could have maybe future discussions, and it's almost biology 101 and geared towards us as the adults. I'm told we have a call online. We want to take the phones, and I do sincerely respect and appreciate that we have a very constrained time for every reason. I mean, I look good in my headset, so put on yours, Ms. Tugman. Let's take the call. Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling.
Hey, good afternoon, Dwayne.
Hey, how are you today, man?
Okay. Good afternoon to you guys too.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for calling, man.
Yeah. Speaking about health. Yeah, I read that when you sit down too much, it's bad for your health. So I would encourage employers to try to build cubicles that have a desk where you can stand also, not only sit. That you're able to stand at least 4 hours out of the day. And when it comes to health, the government has a big part to do with that. Because when it comes to stress, depression, and anxiety, you could be a normal child, live a good life. But when the government allows certain things to go on in your country, that you're not able to afford it,
Mm-hmm.
then you start thinking about your children's future and your grandchildren's future. That brings on even more stress.
Right.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And as we talk about, teen pregnancy prevention month, with respect to our guests, let's see this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi. How are you?
I'm fine. Good afternoon, panel.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am so excited about this topic, and I just had to make a quick call. As a young teenage mother myself at the age of 15, my daughter's now 36, and I can tell you I am so proud to see how Cayman has evolved in advance, and this is such a topic that is not being afraid to be discussed. Back when I was a teenage parent, respectfully to my mom, because that was another era in Cayman. I was just being taught sex education in high school in what was it, fifth form they called it at that time, and in the middle of all that I became pregnant and I had to drop out of school, and at that time they didn't permit teenage parents to return to school, and that's a whole other story. But the point I'm trying to make is that I'm so proud and glad to see how Cayman has evolved to bring this topic out into the public and to discuss it and to be supporting it and educate our teenagers and the public on a whole, parents and everything, because it is a very important topic, and we need to take away the stigma also from teenage parents, because historically speaking, especially in Cayman or anywhere, being a teenage parent, I guess it depends on how young, but sometimes it's not necessarily a bad thing. For me, I can say being a teenage parent gave me a purpose at 15 years old, and I'm very proud to be a teenage parent. I think I have a lot to offer to other young ladies that may be in the same situation, but at the same time, we want to also educate so there can be prevention and no misconceptions. And you guys are doing, so far the show, you just got on the panel, but the show is sounding so good already with the information.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just glad that this is coming out there. I had something else to add, but our young people should know that we don't want them to be stigmatized with certain things, but we also want them to be cognizant of certain lifestyles and the repercussions and that sort of thing, and to know that life doesn't end if you become a teenage parent, if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, but
yes,
and thanks so much for sharing. But you gotta have support,
Yeah.
right? So, Ms. Alicia.
Yeah, definitely. And at the Family Resource Center, we do have the Young Parent Services, which is Marisha and I are also included. So Marisha runs the employability segment, so it helps young ladies to work on their resumes, to go through trainings, to learn how to do conflict management, right? Because those are still skills that they need, and so we equip them with that. I lead the Interstate Voices curriculum, so it works on empowering them. They have separate issues, right? It talks about how do you relate to your family, how do you relate to maybe your co-parent, or how do you relate to your body, your health, drugs, alcohol. So we lead that, and then Miss Amber Cobb leads the nurturing parenting aspect. So that is about just parenting strategies and how to make sure that you form a really healthy attachment to your baby. So we do provide that here on Island for parents under 25.
Yes.
Mothers under 25. But I do want to plug that we do have a forum coming up called Safe Start. It's the Safe Start Forum on June the 1st, and it begins at 9 o'clock. And it ends at 11:30. And this is to allow parents and also their teens and adolescents to come and talk more about these topics, right? It's going to be an interactive workshop with activities. Infinite Mind Care will be there to talk about self-worth, boundaries, and values with the teens. And then parents will have their own segment where they learn about communication skills, right? They learn about also how to openly have these conversations with their teens. So it's going to be a very interactive workshop that will be held at our new location, which is Clifton House. So it's very exciting, and the link is live, so parents can go ahead. Feel free to register. It's a very important topic. As
So
the
it's
caller said.
virtual or in person?
No, in person.
In person
at Clifton House.
And then this is next Saturday.
Yes.
Okay, where's Clifton House?
Clifton House is on 4th Street.
Yeah, so that's 75 4th Street.
I should ask. I can have some people. Where's 4th Street?
It's right. It's the old Applebee.
I know some people going. No, I just kidding. No, don't.
And just to add that the event, the forum is free, so there's no charge to it.
And who is, I mean, because you talked about your parenting program for mothers 25 and younger. For this workshop next Saturday, in your new location, what age group? Who's invited?
Teens, adolescents, parents with teens, so come with your child. So any teenagers under the age of 18, I would say. 12 could be a preteen as well,
12 teen,
right?
yeah.
12 teen. But just encouraging parents who do want to have or start opening up that discussion with their kids. It's just very important. That's why when we say safe start, right? It's not just safe start regarding sex, but it's regarding relationships. It's regarding life and valuing themselves, right? How do I start valuing my body, like Dr. Stone said earlier, right? And that's very important. And that's one of the, I would say, the key factors in when we talk about teen pregnancy. And I can hand it over to you, right? When we talk about how do we prevent, we need to understand the body. We need to understand the physical risks and emotional risks affected by that. So can you touch on that just a little bit?
Thank you. And I want to piggyback onto what you said. I like what you've used, the word relationship and sex, R before S, right? If you can educate about what is a healthy relationship, then the S becomes more confined into what it should be and when it should be and how it should be.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Teen pregnancy, let's start on some positive news. We certainly have seen in the last 20 years a significant decline in the number of reported teen pregnancies. Some of this data is coming from the United States and some other parts of the world, but I think we can see some of that here in our own community, that in the Cayman Islands, the rate of teen pregnancies has come down. It is not necessarily to a level that we all feel that is appropriate. And I think it was important to mention, following on that caller, we are talking about unintended pregnancies. We are not going to suggest that every teen pregnancy was unplanned, because they may have been planned, and it may fall different from your beliefs or my beliefs or anyone else's beliefs. However, it is important to understand when we talk about prevention, we're talking about unintended pregnancies. But let's talk about that for a moment. When you have a teen pregnancy, you are putting a challenge to the mother with the pregnancy itself. And without getting into a lot of detail, we can all agree that as a young woman is evolving and growing, she hasn't stopped growing and evolving physically, biochemically, physiologically. She has not stopped at age 12 or age 13 or 14 or 15. And that we are still on the escalator of development. When a child, or a teenager I should say, becomes pregnant, it puts a significant amount of strain on that body, on that frame, on the anatomy. And it's part of the reason why there are risks associated with young ladies when they become pregnant as a teenager. First and foremost is that strain of nutrients that needs to be shared in a optimal way between mom and baby is going to be compromised. And that is why we see a much higher incidence of preterm births, preterm labor, low birth weights, or fetal growth restrictions. And those parameters alone, if we just stopped and talked about preterm birth, that is a significant impact to that newborn's life. When we are born before term, there are significant impacts to that developing person that has just been born, that puts them at a disadvantage to someone who makes it here term, let alone someone who comes in growth restricted, low birth weight, and the implications of how that might have resulted from nutrients that have been suboptimal for the brain development and for the rest of the neuromuscular development. So we could also go on to say that there is higher incidence of pregnancy-induced hypertension or forms of hypertension in pregnancy, of greater risks of developing problems where they're not able to deliver naturally or vaginally and have to succumb to a cesarean delivery, which is a major surgery. And I could go on, but I think the basic tenets of it is to say, just from that standpoint, there are significant risks and challenges. But we could even go into the other parts, which I'm sure we would want to touch into more, which is what are the psychological implications associated with a young lady who is now dealing with a real adult situation, which is to carry a pregnancy and further from that potentially assume responsibility of taking care of and raising a child.
Because these are young bodies. I always think about it that way, right?
Young bodies, young minds.
When you're in high school, it's a topic that you kind of like laugh and giggle about with your friends. But then when you're older and you're looking from the outside in, you're like, oh my goodness, these are young bodies. These are young kids, and
they don't have the tools or the skill set, those
right, because you're not thinking. You're only thinking about your CXC exams and who's going to come out of Bay and who's not. Like, you're not really thinking about, the physiological effects of teen pregnancy. So
this is where I'm hopeful that, and I appreciate everything that you shared in the time constraints, and apologize for that. But why, in future discussions, could we also include the male counterpart? Because to my knowledge, it still takes the two. My biology, I wasn't present in classes much, but I remember that part, despite the science and the technology and the like. But the plan versus the unplanned, that teen young mind body might decide for whatever reason to consent to this thing, but have you planned for the financial and the physical and the biological and the emotional and the psychological and the societal and all these other things that are going to come in 5 months from now, 15 years from now?
More than likely not. But before we wrap up, I do want to talk about access to healthcare and support services, because that is definitely what we want to encourage parents to do. So, Dr. Stone, this question's for you. How can we encourage parents to help their teens to access these healthcare services, including regular checkups, reproductive health exams, right? How can we, for the daughter who's at home who maybe is sexually active, maybe want to, see an OBGYN, or for the male, the son who's at home and maybe wants to see a doctor to talk about his reproductive health and what's going on in his body and the changes. What message do you have for the parents?
I think that's a great question. I think that the challenge is in having that parent of that teen feel comfortable about bringing some of that information up with their healthcare provider. And I see that regularly in my practice. A young lady may have a child that's a man or a woman, your boy or girl rather, that's preteen or teen, and it kind of comes into the conversation because we'll ask, well, how old are the kids and how are they doing and things of that nature. I think the first part starts with opening that line of communication in a non-threatening, non-judgmental way. Sometimes it helps to bring that child in to see a healthcare provider, not necessarily for, as I'm a gynecologist, for a physical exam, but for an introduction to what will eventually be a relationship that young lady will have with her body and seeing a professional healthcare provider. I have many times had women come in with their daughter, and there is no intent of that daughter to have an exam. It's really to have an introduction. And then from that introduction, sometimes we can begin to have open questions, open-ended questions. How do you feel about things that are happening with your life? What do you feel about, how do you feel about yourself? Has anyone made you feel uncomfortable or things of that nature? You can begin having those conversations. People ask me, when should you start talking to your children about relationships, which meaning code for beginning with sexuality? It can start as early as 10, 11, 12 years old. I think one of the ways in which we've hooked in for some young ladies is when they have their first period. Because when a young woman has her period, that kind of puts an alert that something's going on. And it's amazing. Remember how children are. When they've got an alert, what are the first thing they're going to ask for? Their mommy or their dad. And so now you have that attention, and you can use that moment in that young girl's life to start building a relationship, to talking about what's happening with their body and what does this represent, what does this mean. For boys, it's the same thing. Around the same age, 10, 11, 12, we can begin talking about the body and then opening it up to age-appropriate conversations. So I do try to educate parents who happen to be my patients about timing of doing things and when to bring it up. And we get into little details about, today you definitely, one tip I tell people, never try to have a discussion before eating. Especially with the young mind. They're going to be out. They're going to be fried out. Make sure you have that conversation after they've been fed. The car is a great place when driving to actually have that conversation. So there's a lot of little tidbits that you can throw in there, but hopefully it answers.
But not only, sorry to mention, but not only when we talk about teen pregnancy, just babies, but when we think about sexual health, also STIs come into the picture, right? So knowing how to be safe and knowing that different contraceptives and all of that is very important to have in these discussions.
And I'm just going to add to what Dr. Stone says, when having the conversation, it's important that you have it in stages. So when you get to that critical point, when you're actually not talking about sex, it is not as daunting, or it's not an overload of information, because you would have been, trying to orient them as they develop. So it is important.
I consider better. And even talking about birth control, right? I think if you look at the generation now that we're talking about, they don't like to hear the word birth control. They're okay with saying hormone therapies and hormone contraception, but hormone therapies. But the word birth control sounds restrictive to them. And I can understand it. This is their generation. But the most important thing is to be effective in talking to them about barrier protection, what types to use, how to use it. But once you have their attention, you can step along the way to get to those points, and have really meaningful conversations, not just for the girls, but for the boys.
Indeed.
As well.
Yeah.
Mr. Lisho, we have to come back on again.
Yes, we
and
do.
Even though me only has 31 days, maybe this year it'll be every month will be me. We celebrate our child, but we also celebrate our youth. So thank you for being so available.
Thank you so
and to Mr. Lisho,
thank you.
bring along Miss Marisha.
Of course.
And Dr. Stone, always a pleasure. Right?
It's a pleasure's mine. Thank you.
I hope people look out and reach out to you at Ocean Made, and of course the FRC for all your programming.
Yes.
All right. Stay tuned.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Are you ready for Cayman Art Week? From Wednesday 22nd to Sunday, May 26th, you'll find local art on show and for sale at more than 30 venues across all 3 Cayman Islands. Explore galleries and pop-up exhibitions anytime throughout the week, or join one of our bus tours running in a different district each day. Admission is free and open to the public. You can check out what's happening and when at CaymanArtWeek.com.
now more than ever. Supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments May 21st through the 25th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you are seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.porterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 949-9020. Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, and right. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. Auditor General Sue Winspear is retiring this year after 8 years of distinguished service to the people and government of the Cayman Islands. Ms. Winspear, who has been battling a cancer diagnosis for over a year now, has indicated her intention to return to England and to transition leadership at a time that is most beneficial to her team. Her exact departure date will be confirmed in the autumn. In international news, this was the outcome Israel sought to avoid, a demand to halt a military operation the government regards as essential for the defeat of Hamas and the return of hostages. But there is no immediate indication that Israel will change course as a result of Friday's ruling by the International Court of Justice. Its tanks are pushing closer to the center of Rafah, and just as the decision was being read out, a series of airstrikes sent a huge black cloud billowing over Rafah. Some of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's hardline colleagues have reacted with rage, accusing the court of anti-Semitism and siding with Hamas. Singer Sean Kingston has been arrested in California hours after a police raid of his Florida mansion, during which his mother was also arrested. Mr. Kingston was accused in February by a company of not fully paying for a huge TV and sound system. He was taken into custody in Fort Irwin, Southern California, on fraud and theft charges on a Florida warrant, police in the latter state said. In an earlier social media post, Mr. Kingston said his lawyers were handling everything. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
The Health Services Authority has over 120 world-class physicians offering the most comprehensive range of specialist services on island. Our dedicated team of professionals provide the highest quality care in orthopedics, interventional radiology, women's health, geriatrics, and a host of other specialist areas. We are a JCI accredited organization with a proven record of excellence. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you. For more information, visit hsa.ky.
Born September 25, 1947, at Watering Place, Cayman Brac, Royce Adolphus Dilbert was the firstborn son to Helen and Grace Dilbert, née Tibbetts. Mr. Dilbert was a hard-working man who spent numerous years at sea, as well as employing his diverse skill sets on land. In 1979, he would marry Yvette Jackson and took employment with Cayman Brac Power and Light Company in 1981 as chief engineer, where he remained until his retirement in December of 2018. Heavily influenced by his wife, in 1982 he gave his heart to the Lord and joined her at Ebenezer Baptist Church, where he later served as interim pastor in 2002 to 2007, becoming pastor in 2017. Mr. Dilbert was a charter member of the Rotary Club of Cayman Brac, served as PTA president at Creek Primary School, worked with the youth in the community, president of the Veterans and Seamen Society, and was a member of the Development and Control Board Cayman Brac until his passing. Royce was a devoted father to 7 children, loved to fish, and had a passion for cars.
Research has shown that worldwide, women have unique barriers to accessing health care. But what's the situation in Cayman? We want to know. From May 1st to May 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will be undertaking a public consultation to help inform Cayman's new National Health Strategy. Tell us about your experiences with healthcare across all 3 islands by emailing mohfeedback@gov.ky or by logging on to gov.ky/health-wellness.
This summer, discover adventure, magic, culture, nature, and so much more with Cayman Airways. Airfares are now on sale for travel this summer between Grand Cayman and all of our international summer destinations. You can visit New York, Denver, Los Angeles, Miami, Tampa, Kingston, Mobay, Panama, Havana, and La Ceiba. But hurry, this summer airfare sale ends on June 1st. Be sure to call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Make this your best summer yet with Cayman Airways.
The Council of Older Persons is proud to present the first Aging in the Cayman Islands Forum. This forum will be held on Saturday, 15th of June at Sir Vassal Johnson Hall at UCCI and is free to the public and open to all ages. Registration will open at 8:30. Presenters and topics aim to truly reflect the needs of Caymanians and residents so we can all age with dignity. For more information, visit www.gov.ky/Older Persons Council.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And when I look across the stalwarts in our civil service, I think today, and in particular in this whole week, we have a number of incredible people from the civil service who joined us for different discussions. And I think this is one of the few times when I can say to Miss Norma, you were right. I mean, she hears it all the time. Putting cameras in the studio were a good thing because we get to not only hear directly, but we get to see another amazing contributor to our society from the public service. How are you today?
I am good, Sterling. How are you?
And I was thinking how I'm good. I feel a little bit down in a sense, and I don't use that lightly because of what's been transpiring in the last bit. I thank Dr. Borden, who will come in shortly, and we'll talk about that discussion. But to be able to have time to speak to you, and I was thinking, how do I introduce Miss Ventisha Connolly? And it's not, that I haven't given thought to it. And why I say that is that I want us as a people to start to recognize how important being positive is. we can say and repeat, but if we don't believe it, right?
You've got to. Your aura has to be positive. Is my thing. So if you call me on the phone, it doesn't matter how bad a day I'm having. I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna answer the phone and it in turn should make you just that little bit more.
That's it.
So that's the impression that I like to leave with people.
And as we were talking and listening to the news and all the programming, I was thinking, about that. If he doesn't mind, yes, great co-worker. I want to increasingly become a better friend to him, but he's been a great inspiration. DJ Lynn, right? We have a great team, and he says, however you phrase it, good looks, beauty, whatever that is, the outward thing is one thing. It's the spirit.
Yes.
It's what's in,
yes.
right? And that is what we need to remember. So being positive, acknowledging that things happen. Here you are. Nobody can begin to imagine, not even me, what you guys have on your table, just as part of your administrative job description, all those other things, just bouncing from one floor to the next, from one building to the next. That takes time, effort, energy. You got to do this, and you can't do that while you're doing this, right? And here you are. So thank you. Thank you. The educator always, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks, Sterling, and good afternoon to everyone. Especially the Sister Islands, Cayman Brack and Little Cayman. Yeah. Good afternoon, my people.
There we go, man. There we go. I love music, and to all of the Caymanian musicians, I think Mr. Dalmain and the Martin, I think, are probably my favorite. If I think about even the young ones and ones before, for some reason, right? And the Martin, and back
to the Brack.
To the Brack again?
Yeah.
Someone say you should just go back and stay, you don't have to leave. It's just great.
Trust me, I'm about to, figure out how to move back and forth every day. But Sterling, as we go off there, I want to, because my time is brief, I don't want to miss out. I'm here today to talk about the culmination of our Emancipation Day celebrations that started on the 3rd of May here in Grand Cayman. And we will be culminating in Cayman Brack next weekend, so Friday the 31st of May through to the 2nd of June. This has been a tremendous undertaking by our team in the ministry, along with the abled assistants from Christy and Alfonso in the Celebrate Cayman unit, as well as the protocol office, and the Ministry of Tourism as well. That I don't think we would have been able to pull it off without the cross collaboration that we've had over the last few weeks. And we're coming to the end. So there's a light at the end of that tunnel. But I'm looking forward to finishing these celebrations in the Brack starting on the 31st. So I'm here to invite the public out to the celebrations in the Brack. Friday the 31st, we will be having a night of cultural performances, being topped off by, for the first time ever, taking Swanky Kitchen Band to the Cayman Brack.
Isn't that amazing, right? They've probably been everywhere.
Yes.
I've been everywhere except the Brack.
Except the Brack. So, along with the Office of the Premier, we are fastidiously working on the schedule of events for Friday. We will be having food for free. We are trying to make sure that what was done here in Grand Cayman is kind of, copied over into the Brack, but with the Brack twist.
What she's saying, translation, much better, okay? Just so you know. The Brack, I just have that Brack appeal. Right?
Yes. So Friday night we'll start at 6:30. We'll have a very short program and entertainment throughout. We will have entertainment from the school kids that are there. We will have Heat band with Brent and Vashti and those starting, and then we will wrap the night.
All right.
With Swanky. Like I said, the food will be free. There'll be plenty seating. I've got the great assistance of the district administration team as well as PWD in the BRAC. We met last week, not last week, Jesus.
It feels like that.
We met Tuesday when I was up.
Which was last week. Since 2020, a day is a year. Okay.
Exactly. So we met Tuesday while we were up. It's going to be at Watering Place Gardens. We're looking for that open space so that it's not crowded and whatnot, because we do know that it is hot. It is not summer yet, and it is hot. So
there's a part of me that want to make a joke in the campaign season that kicked off here, but we're not going there.
We're not going. not today.
No, I mean, I can't remember.
So the open space gives us that air, that breath.
Yeah.
There's going to be a main stage that they've already started to set up, tables and tents and all sorts of seating for everyone, young and old, to come out on the Friday night. Come and join us, have some fun. It's about a 2.5 hour night. To get you home, get you rested. Little Heritage Day. So very similar to what we did on Emancipation Day, Hogstay Bay Day in town. Similar thing on the BRAC without the water element. Just because there's really no...
You know what? I was going to... let me leave it be. Okay, but Saturday come out and...
So yeah, Saturday we're going to start at about 4 o'clock. We'll have, again, a very short little program, and it'll be a lot of entertainment. We will have food on sale on Saturday, and there'll be activities for the kids. So we'll have face painting, balloon animals. There'll be a photo booth there so that they can take their photo. Bouncing castles, snow cone, cotton candy, all the sugary stuff for free.
Just for parents, okay? Just for
just so the parents know. And then we'll have our local craft artisans out there with their wares for sale, and then we'll also have local food on sale for the Saturday. That starts at about 4, and once the sun starts to set, that we get a little cooler. We're going to have, of course, Graham with his
unofficial Cayman Brackle.
Yes, the unofficial Cayman Brackle, but he'll tell you, well, I got roots in Cayman Brack, so I'm Cayman Bracker.
You listen to him, he probably got roots everywhere. Graham, just sit down. That's good.
So Lord Graham will light up the night with the fireworks display. That's going to be about a 10, maybe 15-minute show.
Okay.
And then we will cap the night, because it would not be fair of me to do something here and not be able to do it in the Sister Islands. So we have the drone show that was delivered here by a company called Luna Light that we contracted out of Miami. They're coming back, and we will have a drone show just over the edge of the bluff. I'm looking forward to seeing this, because I've seen it over the water, because both at Pedro and at Hogstay Bay, it was over the water. So you saw it glistening off the water. But this time, it's going to be right over the edge of the bluff.
Wow.
And so that shot alone is going to be priceless.
You're going to video it for me, send it to me, right? So I can show my son. All right.
Yes.
All right, please.
Yes. Right. So we're going to cap Saturday night with fireworks and the drone show.
Yeah. That alone, I'm hoping that we know the Cayman Brack community will come up, but hopefully many of us from, here in Grand Cayman will be able to grab a Cayman Airways hop and head across for the weekend.
There's still flights available, and if I need to send a little message to Paul and Fabian and the Minister of Tourism to say I need an extra flight, I'm pretty sure we can get that done.
I couldn't even see them wanting to fly the plane themselves if they could. But it would be great. I mean, this would be a wonderful opportunity, and in 2 weeks' hands, the March for Jesus with Honorable Premier and the group will be back on the BRAC again. So as we have that level of inclusion and showing that we're all involved, 3 Islands, definitely, as a people, we're all united. So an amazing opportunity for the BRAC, for the country.
Yes. We're so excited as a team that we're able to do the same thing and give the BRAC the same level of entertainment, of a celebration that we were able to do here. And then on the Sunday, we're going to cap the celebrations with a church service, closing out our time with a church service. Right now, it is we're still deciding the venue on that, and we will put out social media posts, and I'll come back on the radio to let everyone know where that's going to be. So we'll cap the weekend with a church service on Sunday, and close out our Emancipation Day celebration.
It's gonna be a wonderful time, and maybe all churches come together and have that praise and worship. Do something in the evening. Whatever we do will be to the glory of God. And with you at the helm, thank you for being such a stalwart. I can only imagine. You don't see it; it doesn't show, but I can imagine. You must be a little bit taxed. It got to be kind of tiring.
It is, however, I've always said that when your job is your passion, it's not as tiring and as taxing as people want to think.
Well, I respect that. I can, personally attest to that. But if I might to us towards you and others, let's not take it for granted. Let's recognize that, you are human as well, and the body and the mind sometimes needs a little bit of a rest.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to vacation
So,
but yeah, I want to invite Cayman Brack and Little Cayman to come on out, join us on the Friday night, 6:30 at Watering Place Gardens, and then Saturday, 4 o'clock at Watering Place Gardens. We're keeping it so we don't have to move setups, so we're stable right there. At Watering Place Gardens, and then Sunday, we'll let everyone know where the church service is going to be, but just get it on your calendar. You're gonna start to see Watering Place Gardens start to transform starting on Sunday. So you'll know exactly where it's going to be, so that we can fill the place up. I'm expecting at least half of the Brack that can drive and whatnot to come on out. There's going to be parking all over the place, and we'll have shuttles from the little parking lots that we're designating, so that people don't have to really walk in the heat to the spot. So, yeah.
And hopefully, once all the celebrations are done, not that I'm looking, what do young people call it, content, but for future programming, maybe a recap. You, team, we come on, we talk about it, and we publicly, have a discussion about what went right, what we could have done better, and have a discussion.
And I mean, like I said on earlier times that I've been in here, even though we're capping the celebration on the 2nd of June, it doesn't stop the conversation.
Yeah.
So, we've partnered with the National Museum. They're doing a poetry competition that is based on Emancipation Day. We're partnering with UCCI for that panel on discussion. We're almost wrapped with our documentary, so that that'll be something again to continue the conversation. And that coming up, we're trying to engage the cinema so that we'll actually have a big screen showing of it.
Well, if we don't drive it, then it'll also be defined, dictated, sometimes misdirected if we don't drive it.
Exactly. So there's a lot more to come. Yes, I know people have asked, because I didn't believe it. I very much doubted myself with the T-shirt sales that we had, but very much so people were drawn to our shirt, especially the one that said #Caymanian Proud, which is our ministry's coin phrase. So we have placed another order for a lot more shirts in a couple different colors. So once those are in stock, we will put out another social media post also to let people know that, we'll be having sales on those shirts again. Because I've had teams reach out and say, we're traveling over the summer. We want to make sure that we are all in the same uniform, and we love this. So that's what we're going to do. But we'll have a lot more stock coming in to put those on for sale. I'm actually looking forward to getting one of them in a color, because all I ended up getting was white.
Blue.
So we're ordering blue, white, red, green, black, yellow.
No green, no red. But seriously, they like stop signs. Yeah.
They're all colors in our flag, though.
No, especially green, none of that.
Green talks about our agriculture. Come on.
I know. You know me.
I look good in green, so I'm going to order.
Hang on. If you could put you in a croco sack and you will look fantastic. That spirit that you have, the gregarious smile, you're just, honestly, you're the reason why, the Cayman hospitality is so evident. That loving, kind, nurturing, caring, compassionate person. That is Miss Ventisha.
Well, I've learned it from generations before me. So
that is Miss Ventisha.
I've got to give them the props for where I'm at today, and where a lot of us are at.
Yes.
But yeah, so
that Cayman Brack wonderfulness. Thank you, Ms. Ventisha.
Thanks for having me, Sterling. And again, to my folks over in the Sister Islands, if you need more information, please reach out to me. Everyone on the Sister Islands at this point has a contact number for me. Or well, if they don't know me, they'll contact my mommy.
If you don't know me by now.
They'll contact my mom, and my mom will go, so Ventisha, someone called. Can I give them your number?
All right, so Friday
the
Saturday,
31st.
and Sunday of next weekend.
Yes, Friday the 31st and Saturday the 1st at Watering Place Gardens. Friday starts at 6:30 and Saturday starts at 4 o'clock.
Right.
And then Sunday, to be determined, but we will be having a church service.
Well, we can say much, but thankfully, a lot of it can actually be true. And you, the team, and many of our civil servants that we don't see publicly, but we know their diligence. Thank you all very much. Whatever we call it in social media, at least we know it's true because we see it evident every day. You guys are truly dedicated.
Yes.
You're committed. You do a great job. Thank you so much.
The unsung heroes. That's all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's all right. We love it. We love it.
Well,
So thank you for having me on. I look forward to popping in here
don't worry, Mom. Don't worry.
early next week when I have confirmation on the church service so that I can let everyone know of that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone next weekend on the Brack.
Safe flights over, safe flights back. A wonderful, fantastic, safe, enjoyable time over there. And as a community, we recognize how important it is for us to come together. Sometimes, as we speak to things, we ask questions.
Yes.
We clarify, we confirm. And sometimes, right, we look at it and we go, no. It don't go so bobo. Because we're speaking it from the truth. So thank you very much, right?
No problem. Happy to.
Have a great day, an excellent weekend, Mom.
Thanks, you too.
All right, and thanks to Dr. Borden for being so gracious. So we're going to yield. I must share the discussion next. Well, we'll take it. So please join us.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Kaleidoscope of Hope, the Alex Panton Foundation's signature gala, Saturday, May 25th, Marriott Beach Resort. Exploring and developing, implementing suicide prevention, mental health resolution focused on children and young people in our community. Kaleidoscope of Hope, the Alex Panton Foundation Gala, supported by Rotary Central. Get your tickets now. ally.spears@outlook.com. That's ALLY.SPEIRS@outlook.com. Rotary Central, creating hope in the world.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And as we get into the discussion with Dr. Alexandra Borden, thanks so much, not just for now and sharing, but also for yielding and for the wider listening public to recognize that sometimes, as Ms. Ventisha shared just then, we only see sometimes certain things that are presented and without appreciating what transpires behind the scenes. The public events, whether they're through Celebrate Cayman or whether they're part of the public holiday celebrations or whatever, there's a lot that goes on, a lot of moving parts. So to Ms. Ventisha and her team for just coming in, we have to work together. One hand helps another.
Yeah.
But I said to share that how much more is happening in our personal lives,
right,
in the lives of our young people in particular. I'll be as respectful. Yesterday when I heard, the happenings of our society, I'm still reeling from it. And I'm a big boy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely anytime there's a loss by suicide, it's always very difficult. And so, so while this was an event that's been in the planning for a few months now, it comes at a really relevant time. So I really appreciate the opportunity to come on today to share about Loud Silent Voices is the one hosting the event on Monday. And whereas Loud Silent Voices generally provides a lot of support to family members and caregivers of persons with severe mental illness, and our goal with this series, the Loud Silent Voices Learn series, is to provide a lot of opportunities for the community, not only our support group members, because we still have the LSV support group that meets once a month, generally the last Tuesday of every month, at Elmsley Hall. But the wider community to hear more about bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, a lot of the more difficult ones to understand, and providing a lot more hands-on support to persons in the community to understand what it is, how to get help, that it's okay to get help, what help should look like. But obviously with the recent events, we've decided, obviously, suicide is a mental health emergency as well. And so to take the opportunity to do a lot more support on that side as well, things to look for and what to expect.
We recognize sometimes that something's happening, but we're not even sure in the moment whether it's an emergency.
Right.
But it may be easier to determine, this problem is an emergency because someone has fallen and is now, God forbid, trapped onto something and you can't get them up.
Right.
But when you use the phrase mental health emergency,
right,
What is that?
And that's why I should have finished that last statement as well. What to expect when you try to access services.
Right.
Is what we're going to be focusing on. So this is not going to be a panel about suicide and what to do. This is what to do in a mental health emergency. And we've got really all the stakeholders on the panel. I'm actually really excited myself to hear about it. So mental health emergency is going to be any time that you're accessing emergency services, generally through HSA, through Georgetown Hospital, normally through A&E. There's some other opportunities now, like for young people to go through Alex's Place, which gives a nicer, more comfortable setting for the review and then possible admission. So mental health emergencies might involve thoughts of suicide, and that's where anytime there's any talk of suicide, it should always be taken seriously. You know, I think a lot of times it's scary, it's hard to talk about, we're afraid to ask, but the reality is that if someone's already having those thoughts, talking about it is actually generally a relief. As a therapist, that was probably one of the scariest things I had to learn, especially with the population I work with, where there tends to be a lot of suicidal ideations present, is having to ask directly, have you had thoughts of killing yourself, thoughts of suicide? If so, do you have a plan? Is this something you think you're going to act on? And asking very directly, and it's terrifying.
So let me help, because you're sharing that, Monday coming, right? 6 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
And I used to call it Georgetown Hall, and it was Constitutional Hall.
Right.
There's the LA building, there's the library. It's right there. Right. Okay, so that's where it's going to be.
Right.
And thanks for reminding us. Open to the public.
Yes, free, no charge. And anyone that has questions, I've also just shared it on my social media. I'm hoping Loud Silent Voices, they've already shared it on theirs, then probably will share again. Mental Health Commission is involved. We'll have the deputy chair joining us to talk about the mental health law. We'll have Sergeant Kern from the RCIPS to talk about, right, because when you call 911, right, so the other mental health crises aside from suicide is perhaps like a manic episode or a psychotic episode where someone is not in their right state of mind and is causing harm to someone else or to themselves, right? And so there's the RCIPS has been working with different trainers to learn how to better intervene, and that kind of helps. So he'll be there for that side. We'll have Nurse Dempna Carton from K-Mind, who will be there to share about her experiences.
And she's a psychiatric nurse at the community.
She's a psychiatric nurse at HSA, yes. And so she's got, so whereas I've done a lot with clients and patients, and and then there's the experience at the hospital. She goes into the community and the houses, so she's got even especially her with the history. She's got a huge breadth of experience and can really answer a lot of those questions. We'll have Miss Jackie Neal, who is of course the founder of Loud Silent Voices, on there, and Dr. Arlene McGill, who's a psychiatrist and at behavioral health at HSA.
And as I listen to you, I'm recognizing that it's difficult, and for many of us who, through our professions and education and training and experience and expertise and whatever else we think, sometimes we're challenged as to how to have this conversation, not in a professional setting with our client, but even just with a friend, a co-worker, a spouse, a sibling, a child. So if I as you speak to Dr. Alexandra Borden this coming Monday, 6 p.m., at Constitutional Hall, is this free, in-person public discussion.
Yes.
If I made an ask, you shared, speak to the person and ask the question directly. Have you been thinking about and use specific words? How would a parent? How would a parent ask a child?
Yeah. You can ask, have you had thoughts of hurting yourself or of killing yourself? And I think that we're afraid that if we ask, we're going to put the idea in their mind. And generally that's not the case. So having asked many people, I can tell you if they've not thought about it, generally they'll be like, no.
Okay. So if you ask, right, if you ask the person, so I'm thinking, parents, this is probably where most people listening are adults, but some children as well are non-parents. So if you as a parent asked a child, you be very specific. Have you thought of this, right? The child may say, hopefully no. How do you ensure though that isn't just a dismissive answer?
Well, and that's where having the conversations beforehand and building the relationship and beginning to talk about stress and what's going on at school all kind of play into it. It is a difficult conversation to have, and and if that trust isn't there, they may not open up.
Right.
But that's where if you notice other changes, like changes in mood, they've been more sad, more withdrawn. Maybe there's been a drop in grades. They're not seeing their friends. They're not enjoying activities. There'll probably be a myriad of other things that might be red flags to tune into.
Would you allow me and shut me down right away, because this is one of the few times where I'm thinking, if we look at international media, suicides are happening seemingly frequently.
Right.
Now, whether that's because of the reporting or whatever, but it's seemingly in the Cayman context as well. And if, again, from the personal perspective, maybe some of us as adults or as parents, maybe we're more anxious, maybe we're a bit more worried, maybe we're a bit more whatever that thing is, right?
Yeah.
But all that aside, so me, the individual, hearing these things, knowing these things, being concerned about these things, I feel yesterday and today very, very down, very much like, wow. And so...
Yeah. As any loss of a child is very difficult, but especially loss under circumstances like suicide adds a whole lot of other levels to it as well. Anyone affected by it should there's free services available through the counseling center, through government. There's many private services. The Alex Panton Foundation provides a lot of very specific services in these areas, and you can always reach out to them, and they've got a lot of information on their website as well. And anyone who's a caregiver is welcome to reach out to LSV as well. But it's hard, but I'd say that's where, if you're not sure, it's better to get the support. Come out, find out about the different resources that are here. Alex Panton Foundation's done a lot to raise awareness about the importance of understanding anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts, but the key thing is that there's a lot of help available here.
Right.
There's no wrong way to access it, and even if it's just passive thoughts of someone feeling like I don't know if I want to be here anymore, that's still signs of depression. So even if they're not like, yes, I've had these thoughts, it might still be worthwhile reaching out to get some support from them, or at least doing the homework yourself. So if it comes up, to where you are concerned about imminent safety, that you know what the process is. And so with any kind of crisis like that, there's often a school counselor, there's a pediatrician. So if you want to start with someone the child knows and maybe let them meet with them and see what's going on, you can. Otherwise, you can access the services directly through either Alex's Place or any of the providers in the community. As far as like if it's a manic episode or even a substance use episode where they're really out of control, or some kind of psychotic episode where they're out of touch with reality and perhaps experiencing hallucinations, it will be calling 911. In the case of suicide, you can also call, or suicidal thoughts, you can also call 911, in which case the police may show up, and then an ambulance will come and they'll take the person to the hospital for review. If the person's willing, you can also go to the emergency room directly, and there's always a psychiatrist or a psychologist on call that will come in to do the assessment and decide what's needed. I say at this stage it's life or death, and so it's always worthwhile to err on the side of caution. And if you're not sure, get them in to see someone. And when you get to the hospital, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to admit them. If you see a therapist, people are often afraid to talk about suicide to me because they're like, oh, I don't want you to just put me in the hospital. And there's a lot of other levels before you get there.
Indeed.
That's only for immediate safety, and that's a legal obligation on my part to make sure that you're safe. But even if you get as far as the hospital, the psychiatrist will come in and do their own review and decide whether you need just maybe medications and support, and do a referral for either medication management or therapy, or they might do an admission at that stage. So I think it's important to know that even if you go as far as the hospital, that it's still not sure what's going to happen, and that the doctors should be working with you and the family.
We'll go to a quick break. We'll take that. We'll come back and we'll discuss. But thank you very much, Dr. Boyd. Please join us after the break.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
It's coming! It's coming! No way!
Clean Cayman Invasion 2024 for the entire month of May. Enjoy a whopping 35% off any $200 purchase.
And guess what, mothers?
We haven't forgotten about you. We have a special surprise for you.
And it's not just for now. It's all summer long.
Visit us at www.cleancayman.com or all of our social media platforms or call us at 949-9955.
You know we have the 3 H's.
Health, home, and happiness.
And that is what we're about.
Clean Cayman Invasion.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
Kaleidoscope of Hope, the Alex Panton Foundation's signature gala, Saturday, May 25th, Marriott Beach Resort. Exploring and developing, implementing suicide prevention, mental health resolution focused on children and young people in our community. Kaleidoscope of Hope, the Alex Panton Foundation Gala, supported by Rotary Central. Get your tickets now. ally.spears@outlook.com. That's ALLY.SPEIRS@outlook.com. Rotary Central, creating hope in the world.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks too to Dr. Alexandra Borden. You share in a way, I liken it to many of our civil servants who have knowledge but empathy, who come and speak to an issue that is about, educating and informing people, but sometimes very sensitive. This discussion is probably, at least for me anyway, I don't know about anybody else, one that it takes a bit of, how do you say, not tack, but it tags at you, right?
Yeah.
So I said to share that as you referenced the loud silent voices, I want to say LSV because
that's what we call it. Yes.
Right. Their meeting, their public presentation that has been scheduled for this coming Monday is one that was in the works for a long time. Right? Yes. Just booking the venue alone can take a bit back and forth.
Yes.
Sadly, much has transpired in the intervening weeks and months.
Right.
But hopefully and prayerfully, as a public, we'll come out 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Yes, sir. 6 o'clock at the Constitution Hall, the Georgetown Town Hall.
Mm.
And so, even as a psychologist and having done several, I wouldn't say many, but many admissions over the years, it's scary to not know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're really hoping to capture kind of all aspects from what happens if you call 911,
right?
What happens? Even myself calling 911 the first time in Cayman, I called and the police got there before the ambulance did, and I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
And so they explained that is the typical process, and so that made sense. But if you have an idea of what to expect, then it's easier to do it. Like, I've done most of the admissions through the hospital directly. But even if you go into the hospital, what happens?
Yeah.
Right? And so all of those things are questions that people have that might stop them from asking for help or seeking help. And I think that's important to know. So we've got, to be honest, it's taken a while because we've got all the players here, at the table to talk everything from 911 with the police to, or even before that, accessing maybe K-Mind and calling the helpline and trying to get help, getting to the hospital, what happens when you get there, if you go in for admissions, what to expect, and then the mental health law, of course, guides the admission process, and then what happens thereafter as far as like observation and any further stays that would come up. So we'll have everyone there to talk about it, because while it's scary, we do have these services here, and it's really important that everyone's aware of it. And if you know what to expect, it's easier. That's why, if the person's already working with a therapist for whatever reason, it can be helpful, call them and, and get them in the loop, and then they'll know, or the psychiatrist even, and then they can help to set up the referral process sometimes as well. Obviously, at any point, if there's a crisis, go straight to the emergency room. But if there's already providers involved, you can also call them. Like, if it's a client of mine, I can help them, decide where do we go, when do we go, because sometimes if they have a psychiatrist, I might recommend a visit with them first. Otherwise, I'd say go to the hospital.
I commend you and LSE, Ms. Jackie, and the team for being very proactive, for all of the other panelists for coming on board, recognizing that just even organizing a little family get together at times can take a bit of scheduling. So for putting this, together, all the logistics, but I'm hoping that as a community will respond. Now, there may be many of us who will come up because we're proactive. Maybe you're a bit reticent because of past experiences, but being ill-informed, it doesn't help anybody.
No, I agree. If you come out, not only will you get to hear it firsthand, you'll get to ask questions, you'll get to meet everyone. I also think when you meet someone, it makes everything easier as well. The plan is for it to be recorded, to be able to be shared afterwards. And if anyone has any questions and they're not able to make it, you're welcome to reach out to me through either Instagram or Facebook, Dr. Alexandra Bodden. Reach out directly to Loud Silent Voices. They're on Instagram and Facebook as well. Or you're welcome to even email me at abodden@oncourse.ky. So I'll be putting together the questions beforehand, and we'll be taking questions there too.
Right. Well, we know that we have been trying to do something similar here on one of our segments, so we might be able to do that in segments going forward and increasing over the summer. But I'm asking the public because I looked at, again, from a personal perspective, an individual who recognizing I have a lot of resources. I got you, I got the wonderful team here in the form of management of Miss Norman and Miss Paulette. I've got siblings, I've got physicians, I got therapists. But yet even a person who has a lot of resources may not have taken the opportunity to reach out to those resources. But there are people who don't.
Well, and especially like if you've got a family member with a severe mental illness, odds are you probably have some idea of what's going on.
Right.
But sometimes these things happen, and even if you are well connected, you don't know what to do. And like how I was surprised with the police, and I should not have been surprised. I should have known that was what was going to happen. But that those are things to know, and then I can prepare for it. I can prepare my client for it. Likewise, in a crisis, it's always hard to know what to do, and 911 is always there. Let me just say that if you're ever in doubt, go ahead and call them.
They are amazing.
Yeah.
If I may compliment you, I mean, and this is where sometimes.
Oh, that's not me.
Yeah. No. Compliment with the E.
Yes.
See, this is why language.
Sorry.
If I may,
please add
to what you share, right? I've had, for different reasons, just a bystander and different, call 911. And the fantastic people on the other end, not only their professionalism, their training, they'll calm you, they'll ask the right questions. All you got to do is listen and respond. They'll guide you. They'll stay with you on the line if you want. I'm telling you, whatever foolishness you watch on TV, these people are exceptional. So that is a service. But to your point, with the policing and the other things, and as a family and not knowing what to expect, sometimes we don't understand the moving parts. So being informed, being able to help the guide to navigate, to instruct, to take instructions will help. So Monday is going to be a key thing.
Absolutely. And sorry, I thought the compliment was that I was brave to come out and say that. But I think because yes, if there's some kind of car accident or something, you think to call 911. If it's a mental health crisis, it may not appear immediately.
Yes.
An emergency, but it's important to know that they're there as well, and the police are trained for that. You don't have to make that decision.
But here's what I was going to say. I know this got me a little bit, but I don't really matter. I was going to compliment you in the sense that, but we who don't know sometimes are adding to a problem. But sadly, those of us who do know, say policing apparatus globally, they're seen as a force. They respond. Thankfully, globally, they're starting to recognize that there's a de-escalation is a word that's come into the vogue.
Yes.
Who knows what that means in a way, and certainly is it applied. But if you come into the space and you know what to expect, you know what is there. Wasn't long ago when police would come before the ambulance came, right? And they would come with their guns. Now, I don't know if the gun is going to administer an injection to revive the person or what the hell they're coming with the guns for, right?
Right.
But that's a personal thing that inflames me. Right. Understanding that, how do I respond to make sure that the ambulance can get in there, the road isn't blocked, the dog is tied, the person gets the treatment.
Right.
We work together, right?
Right. So that would be kind of then kind of reaches to the next side of it, which is having an idea of what to expect so that there's not the barriers. Yeah. You can even start with either, the kids helpline, the mental health helpline, which is K-Mind, and the crisis center, of course, has their 24-hour hotline as well. But also knowing your rights in those situations as well, because sometimes things don't go as planned, or you have someone who's maybe assessing the situation differently. So knowing how it should work can also help you to better advocate,
right?
For yourself or for your family member or the person, whether your loved one or the person that is in the crisis.
Right.
So this will give you a battery of knowledge to not only know what to expect, but also know what should happen.
And how to assist, and more importantly, how not to unconsciously impede the thing that you're trying to help. Right? Because you get frustrated and all of a sudden, let's say the ambulance needs to get in, but you didn't move the car for the ambulance to drive in. You know the car needs to move, but you're flustered, right?
Right.
Little things.
Right. So if you have the information beforehand, then keep it at hand. Like a lot of times I'll share actually the emergency numbers as a contact on my phone so people can put it into their phone directly.
Right.
But if anyone is interested in some of the de-escalation skills and that kind of, like what to do to help in a mental health crisis, Loud Silent Voices has done a lot with the mental health first aid training. And so there's some of those trainings that have been going on for the past few years, some done recently and some that are still coming up as well. And that may be of interest to people as well.
So this Monday, 6 p.m., the Georgetown Town Hall.
Yes.
Many people I know have much on, but this would be hopefully an opportunity. Thank you for assembling the panel to Loud Silent Voices.
It was a group effort. As I said, we've got some heavy hitters on here, and I really appreciate that Loud Silent Voices has helped with the connections and putting all of this together.
Yeah, well, to Ms. Jackie and your board and to all the panelists, thanks very much. And I know many are still reeling.
Even if you're not in a crisis, there is help available in the community. There's free services through government at the counseling center, and there's a lot of private providers as well. You can even start with your GP. So if anyone is feeling overwhelmed with what's been going on, I know we're on here to talk about what happens in a mental health crisis and accessing emergency services, but if we can get help in before that, all the better. So even if you're just, a bit overwhelmed with what's going on or not feeling like yourself, it's fair to reach out.
Right.
And no wrong way to start, whether you're GP or, or a pastor, someone that you know and trust, and then following with a referral from there.
Well, thank you for carving out time. I know others who could have and would have and had joined, but things being what they were. But Monday, I'm prayerful that the general public will be present. They'll come. They'll benefit from the panelists. And so Monday, 6 p.m., the Georgetown Town Hall, the Constitutional Hall. and
Yes,
a great
and-
panel discussion.
And if I can, I did get a message from Nurse Dimpna as well that K9, the mental health helpline, has changed their hours. So now they're now available 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Friday, and they're available at 1-800-534-6463. And all
534-MIND.
these resources, there'll be information about it on Monday.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Boyden.
Thank you.
And to all like you who continue to give tirelessly, thank you so much. So 6 p.m. this Monday, hopefully we'll remind people, but please come along as a family, take your spouse, take your sibling, take your student, take your charge, take your child. 6 o'clock in the town hall.
Yes.
All right.
Look forward to seeing everyone there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next segment, we'll put on another hat and we'll talk about another thing. So if you're ready to dance, give us a shout. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
This is the People's Radio Station. Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. Southwest Airlines has launched daily nonstop flights between Orlando International Airport and Owen Roberts International Airport starting June 4th, 2024. In international news, Sudan's Darfur region is facing a growing risk of genocide as the world's attention is focused on conflicts in Ukraine and Gaza, a UN expert warns. We do have circumstances in which a genocide could be occurring or has occurred, the UN Special Advisor of the Secretary General on the Prevention of Genocide told BBC's Newsday program. The Secretary General said many civilians were targeted based on their ethnicity in Sudan's besieged city of El Fasher, where fierce fighting has intensified in recent days. More than 700 deaths have been reported in 10 days by a medical charity in the city. Rishi Sunak, UK's Prime Minister, says he is disappointed his bill banning young people from ever being able to smoke legally will not pass before the general election. The tobacco and vapes bill is not included in the legislation being rushed through by MPs ahead of Parliament shutting down on Friday. Selling tobacco to anyone born after January 1st, 2009 would have become illegal. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much. It's interesting at times. Those of us who think we can dance, we actually watch it and we're not sure. All right, here we go. And can you hear me now?
Perfect.
See, this headset is dropping off my head, so my head isn't as big as some people think. No, but I'm grateful that whether it is you at your wedding or some celebration just trying to, as the good friends would say, shake a leg, or whether you actually know what you're doing and you're taking a salsa class, or you're even better yet and you're part of the National Dance Company and there's a choreographed, performance. Now, I don't know, man. I'll stay in the chair and watch, and I'll be a champion and a cheerleader. I'm not quite sure that I have what it takes to go up on the stage.
I'm sure you do.
You sure? You see, good friends, they're so encouraging. Well, who wants to be brave? Miss Monique, you want to go first, or Miss Liana? Who wants to jump in? You?
Yeah, you do it, yes.
You're a dancer, right?
Yeah, I wear many hats, but today I'm here as a dancer and choreographer, yes.
I am so grateful because I think on a Friday sometimes we want to end on a high note. We want to recognize that with life sometimes it's like the reason why I like dessert before the meal. You gotta. All right, talk to us. I mean,
Yeah. So no, I mean, we have, we have this performance coming up. Right? So annually, and a lot of members of the community will be familiar with it. But for those that are not, it's the Cayman Islands National Dance Company. It's our 36th season. Wow. Yeah, that's how young we are. So it's the show is coming up June 1st and 2nd, so next week, Saturday and Sunday. And it's one of those things. You said, wanting to end the day on a high note. It's the ability for those that are attending, whether it's to enjoy, relax, but for some audience members, it may actually be inspiring. It might be an inspiration to go back to some hobby or talent that they kind of left behind. So, there's a lot for different audience members. It means something different.
Yeah. And I want, not only to promote it and encourage us to come and be an audience, but also to consider two things. We are never, in a space and place that's too late to maybe gravitate towards it, but at least to be there. And if we're inspired, to encourage, nurture, support someone else, our child, our grandchild, or other. With that, well, I should have probably formally introduced Miss Monique and Miss Diana, but maybe I should have you do the proper introduction. I mean, that's fuchsia.
Of course.
Yeah, fuchsia. See,
more bright colors today because I was expecting to be live stream.
You are.
Oh,
and I even got the colors right. I probably know what that color is, but I'll come back to that. It's not coral. It's something else.
That's fine, and you'll see such vibrant colors on stage.
You'll
come to see us.
That's it.
So I'm Leanna Coggins, and I am one of the members of the Cayman Islands National Dance Company here, along with Monique and quite a few other young ladies. Yeah. Many young at heart and many young in bodies, and we all traverse this portion of the journey of our lives together. We are a dance family, and we can encourage any of our listeners at any time to come and join us, whether you want to just peek in and do a one class, shake one leg, shake both legs, shake your hair. We're always open to new members of our family. So
I want to talk about it because our body in motion stays in motion. And if you think, as I was thinking about today's discussion, and there were sort of almost disjointed topics, and there was that somber, sobering one just in between, right? But if you think of that 8-year-old, all enthusiastic, and then the 80-year-old who may have been active all her life, she's still limber, she still has the agility. You recognize that her movement in her daily lives, tying the shoelaces to reaching and retrieving that little bouquet from the top shelf, to bending and playing with the grandchild. Dance, whether is a part of that movement.
All of it connects.
Yeah.
It's amazing the importance movement plays in so many aspects of our lives. To give you a most recent example, I am a new mom, and just a year ago, I couldn't tie my shoelaces. And since coming back to the dance studio, I am a lot more limber, just generally feeling a lot more healthy. And on the topic of your more somber conversation just now, we're an outlet for so many of our children, so many of our teens. We have a group of young ladies that use dance as one of their main outlets, not only physically, but their mental.
It's expressive. Right?
Right.
And this is where I'm hoping that as we as parents now, Miss Monique, as we talk to our children, we're doing things. We know that going outside in the garden or walking the beach, the salt air, the feel the sand under your soles of your feet, but also the physical movement does something for you. But if you're also dancing and moving and you're able to, sort of express yourself, you can tell a story. You can be, right?
Absolutely. Because I think it's, in addition to what Leanna mentioned, if you think about it, separate from the physical aspect and movement and what that means for health, there's also the mind, soul, everything is involved.
Yeah.
Right. So you are, if you look at the kids and what it means for them and how it connects to school or even later in life, right? Because it's an opportunity to, whether it's to build confidence,
right,
whether it's presentation skills, whether it's team building skills, collaboration,
discipline,
the discipline piece. There's so much to it, right? I mean, if I look for me as an adult, because the range of the individuals you're going to see on stage, we have some younger ones, and then we have some of us that are, we're still young.
Young at heart.
We're young at heart. But, we're not as young as
we
those.
look.
But, it's, if you have a full-time job and it is also an opportunity where, yes, it may be a stress reliever, but you're also using a different part of the mind, and all of that intertwines. I have on and off, stopped, gone back, and I can see the difference when I stopped.
Yeah.
It is a big difference.
Let me check in. Mr. Carl, do we need to take a break, sir? Okay. So we'll do that. When we come back, can we talk about this year's production? We know the performance is next weekend, but how do we get it? Tickets and the like. And I love to watch, my sisters and my friends dance, and I try to do. And Miss Susan has been so complimentary. Boy, he got rid of me. But for some reason, unless it's a football, the 2 feet don't go together quite nicely, right? Other than that, I'm okay. So through that, we encourage people, come out and be inspired, as Miss Deanna said. Yeah. All right, so next weekend, we're going to tell you how to get tickets, we're going to tell you where, and we're going to tell you why you want to be there. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Research has shown that worldwide, women have unique barriers to accessing health care. But what's the situation in Cayman? We want to know. From May 1st to May 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will be undertaking a public consultation to help inform Cayman's new National Health Strategy. Tell us about your experiences with healthcare across all 3 islands by emailing mohfeedback@gov.ky or by logging on to gov.ky/health-wellness.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
The Council of Older Persons is proud to present the first Aging in the Cayman Islands Forum. This forum will be held on Saturday, 15th of June at Sir Vassal Johnson Hall at UCCI and is free to the public and open to all ages. Registration will open at 8:30. Presenters and topics aim to truly reflect the needs of Caymanians and residents so we can all age with dignity. For more information, visit www.gov.ky/Older Persons Council.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. And today, Cayman's National Dance Company and to Miss Monique Frederick and Miss Lena Coggins for joining us. And I think sometimes in the Cayman context, we look and we say, oh, such a small place, not really much happening. And then if we travel, whether it's to New York or production, or we happen to be in London or even elsewhere, and then we come back here and we go, wow, we're on par. We go to the National Gallery and we see some of the things. So with that in mind, you referenced that next weekend, right? The first Saturday,
yes.
You have some performances, productions, I think I should call them.
It is a production.
All right. So tell us about this production, Miss Lena.
It's entitled Flavor.
Flavor.
So that alone should give you an indication of what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
The show is a synopsis, a celebration of richness and diversity that exists in the Cayman Islands. It showcases various genres of dances. So we have Afrobeats. We have some soca mixed up in there. We have some of the more serious pieces, some contemporary pieces. So all of those either tell a story. Most tell a story. The story might be, in some cases, very obvious or a little less obvious. Some are left for the audience to interpret in whatever ways they wish to. So it's a combination of rhythms and dynamic movement, just a general celebration of our culture, which is very, very diverse.
Indeed. Miss Monique, would you want, if given a preference, choreographing, performing, or being in the audience? Or all of the above?
It is all of the above. All of the above, because I've done all of the above.
Yeah.
I think choreography obviously is a different element to it, and you get a different appreciation to see your work on stage, and then being a part of somebody else's choreography is also amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think from what you're sharing and what Ms. Liana just referenced, there's an element of interpretation. Even just like you were reading a novel, it may be spelled out, but you can stop. Now watching the dance, with that in mind, do we as the audience need to know what is transpiring, or can we just be in awe of the fact that it's happening?
It's a combination of both things. It's amazing to see one person's idea being transformed onto bodies. And I, as the dancer, might have a completely different, well, maybe not completely different, have a different interpretation of not only what it is, but I can translate that into what happens in my life. And in the case of one of our pieces, what transpired with our ancestors. That piece is called Liberation, and it tells the story of our ancestors. We recently celebrated emancipation. And it tells that story and where we as a people ended up. So where the people of the Cayman Islands are today. So it ends with a poem talking about how strong we are as a people as a result of all the things that we have done.
Mhm.
So it's a myriad of things. It can be interpreted in a myriad of ways.
And I think this is where the arts, whether it's dance, whether it's a poetry, or painting, a sculpture, it can lead you to draw inferences. It can be a depiction, but it also sometimes can influence sort of future interpretations, assessments, discussions, analysis. Right, Ms. Monique? And with that in mind, if you're in the audience and you go, oh, but it's also affected by your particular mindset of the day. What has been on your mind?
No, absolutely. Because I think sometimes if you speak to those that have been in the audience, you'll get different feedback depending on what has transpired in their life and what it means to them.
Right.
It could bring up some emotion. It could be, I really love that because it reminds me of. It's. I think it's gonna be an exciting 2 nights.
Yeah.
It's a spicy 2 nights.
I was gonna, because I read the thing you shared with me. Thanks for sharing that. And you used the word, it's going to be a spicy 2-night event you wouldn't want to miss. That's what was written there. I read it as it was spicy. I mean, tell me.
It's spicy in the sense that, it as its flavor is the actual. And if you look at Caribbean culture, right, there are so many influences. So the genres will be, it's not one genre. There's something there for everyone. The interpretation, the joy, as well as some more deeper pieces where you have to think about. So we are looking at it as we're excited, and we think that the audience will be excited as well.
Yeah, and I think back to some of your prior performances where if you're sitting there, there may be, other than I call it the thumping and the thudding of the dancers as they punks on the platform, it's quiet. Other than that, the audience is still.
Yeah.
And then there's music coming in and it gets loud and then you feel it, but you can actually hear it resonating, and it does something for you. Now, am I exaggerating?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Last year I had the honor of being in the audience. And at one point, I got up and started cheering and screaming and shouting, So it got me on my feet. And I had 1 month old baby with me. But, and I saw other members of the audience, just interacting with the dancers, with the music. It was just a joy to watch, a joy to be on that end of the production.
Well, 36 seasons, and I won't do the math because I wasn't quite, Monique and I were very young in those days, right? But over the years, people I think have been in and out of the performances, but have always seen. So it's doing something that benefits us in terms of an outlet, artistic expression. But for the listening public who enjoys or who's looking for something new, who perhaps hasn't been in a while, can we still get tickets? If so, when, where, how?
Yeah, you can still get tickets, but you certainly, I would say, get them quickly. So tickets, just to give you, for adults it's $30, for children under 15 it's $15. You can get tickets either from Radiance Dance Studio or Audiophile Group, or at the door, or the phone number is 926-1826. I'll give the phone number again in case anybody's writing it down. 926-1826. And they can also see a lot of information either on Facebook, Instagram. You'll find us under CI National Dance Co., TikTok, and then the email address I should provide as well, just in case. And that's CI National Dance Company @gmail.com. So Saturday, Sunday. Sunday is a hot ticket item, so I would say if you're looking for Sunday, you need to do that quickly, because those tickets are certainly going out the door fast.
Which is interesting because I think from over the years, that Sunday afternoon, people want that sort of matinee, and it was intriguing to see how they gravitate towards that level in the weekend, so to speak, right?
Yeah, it was something for the entire family to
Yeah.
partake in.
Yeah.
One of the things we're mindful of is, of course, this can be a family event.
Yeah.
There's something for everybody, like Monique alluded to earlier. So come on down, bring the family.
No, I know where it is, but did I ask you to tell our listeners? It's on the Camelback Bluff.
That is
No.
a good point.
So we know it's next week.
Tell
us where.
Granted.
It's in your backyard. You didn't know?
I just right across the street almost. Yep.
No, it's at the Harquail Theater.
And it's a good selling for that. I mean, I was just thinking back to a year prior where, sort of sitting in the back part, just on the lighting section, and you can watch it, and then the two people on the end, what I call, they're looking down, but you're looking straight in.
Yes.
And you can watch them coming from the
A
sides.
good spot.
There's a seat there with my name on it, I think. But for some of us, in respect, we see these things as not for us, for whatever reason. We're not culture, we're not fancy. Oh, that's just people. But when we go for the first time, we go, why would we miss all the other ones, and we don't want to miss? From the perspective, if I might ask, first to Miss Diana as a dancer, right? And then Miss Monique from the choreographer. For that person who isn't quite sure if this is for them, maybe they want to go and they're going reluctantly because a grandchild is in it, or somebody sort of twisted their arm, something different. Convince them that this would be one of the wonderful things that if they don't go, they can really miss it when they hear about it after.
In one word, spicy.
That was the word that came to mind.
But I'll do a little bit more. There's something for everybody. It resonates. Something will resonate. I'm sure something will resonate with somebody somewhere. There are pieces that the teens will enjoy, or teens particularly enjoy dancing those pieces. We enjoy watching them dance. And as I said last year, I was in the audience, and it was such a pleasure to see. And Cayman is a small community, and believe it or not, there will most likely be somebody on stage that one way or the other. I've gone to the airport before, and somebody said, "Were you dancing the other day? Were you in a dance show?" And you alluded to us going away and spending money to see other productions. Why not support your community? Why not support your family, your friends? I think it's a great Sunday afternoon gig, and not a gig, activity.
See, that's the artist.
It's a great Sunday afternoon activity, and I believe for minimal cost. We know times are hard, but we guarantee you this is going to be a great 2 hours. It will occupy your time and your mind, and I believe for the entirety of the show.
I agree. To you, Miss Monique, I mean, Miss Diana sold it well, without, but what would you add? I mean, we should come. It gives us an appreciation for what we have. It may inspire that person on stage to pursue this professionally, or to perhaps continue the education. I think back to a few of the others who now are teaching here. They may see that this is something that they can do, and it doesn't have to be an afterthought, a hobby, just because they're not in New York or London or some other part of the region even. This is something that has great value in and of itself.
I think you hit the nail on the head. It could be inspiration, even if it's not inspiration to go and join the dance group. It could be inspiration for you to do something that you stop doing.
Yes.
Once you see someone else, especially, I mean, when you see the younger kids, it's different, right? But when you see the adults, like, oh, if they're able to do that, they're still continuing to follow their passion. Maybe I can pick up that passion I left behind. And it could be, it doesn't have to be dance. It could be something completely different. But, it could really wake up something in the heart and soul to say, oh, if they can do that, I really should pick up that thing that I stopped doing.
And you start to recognize the phenomenal talent that we have, the opportunity, the potential that exists there, and stop seeing the space as lacking, and appreciate how much. I have permission, everybody, to share. as I did during the break with you, sometime way back when individuals attended one of the performances, and as a result of them being in this, despite the dynamic being, a much older and a much younger person coming together, the conversations that have continued as a result of that evening, it was incredible. They continue. Now, I was trying to think back, was that the season of gratitude, or if it was, once prior, but that has been something that has allowed them to share that experience. That's priceless. I liken it to Miss Pat Bent's production way back when of a very sensitive, play that she wrote, where we in the audience sat and listened. Here's a school teacher having her students perform something that we all know sadly exists in our communities, but we don't speak to. What a wonderful way to have, a talking and teaching moment. So, to you, to the team, from the choreographer to the performers, the athletes, I think I would call them, right?
Oh, definitely.
Because you guys are strong, both mentally and physically. I've seen some of the things you do.
And listen, this doesn't come easy. It comes with a lot of sacrifice.
You make it look easy.
It takes a lot of hours of practice. We dedicate a lot of time, at least 3 hours per day, for most weekdays, the Monday to Thursday generally. Wow. A few Sundays, a few Saturdays. So we're thankful to our families. We're grateful for their support. And on the basis of support, I'd like to plug our sponsors.
Yes, please.
Our show this year is made possible by a grant from the Cayman National Cultural Foundation. In addition to that, we are sponsored by Art Directors and Dew Point Air Conditioning and Refrigeration Limited. So we thank them immensely. We thank our families, our friends, the community. The arts we know was left behind a few decades ago, possibly with the advent of science, the focus on science, technology, and mathematics, and so on. But slowly we're recognizing the value in the arts, and this is something that, as we would have discussed, gives value to the very young, to those who are young at heart. So. Support the arts, guys.
Indeed. Any final closing thoughts on Miss Monique?
Do we have any time to give away
a ticket? Mr. Carl. He's like, guy, you take my head shit. All right. But we can, if you wish, even extend the promotion and discussion.
And do it
do it another time. So we have tickets to give away?
We can leave
1,500 tickets? How many tickets?
How many of you want?
No, but we have 2 tickets for the Saturday performance. So we can certainly leave that with you, and we can leave you some questions if you like to ask the audience. But that's also part of our contribution for to make sure that those are supporting us, that there's an opportunity for them to attend.
We're going to work something in particular, like actual, to make it happen, and Doc when he comes in. So we're going to give away tickets, right, to the performances for next weekend.
Yes.
And I can honestly share that there are times we do things for people, and this is when people have gone, in one instance, a bit reluctantly. They felt obligated because there's somebody in there that asks for the support, and then they come away going, wow.
Didn't know this was here in Cayman Islands.
And I can say that without making the fella feel too bad.
Oh, yes. From gospel to soca to Latin to something for everybody.
Yeah, there's
flavor. A lot.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you both for what you do, not only for, dancing and performing, but for inspiring, for nurturing, and for being there to show the children the twigs, an actual, doing, they have an example that they can follow. We invite you to have a wonderful, enjoyable weekend, and then most memorable performance next weekend.
Thank you so much for having us, sir.
All right.
And you do enjoy your weekend too.
I will. Miss
You
Monique
and your
Frederick and Miss Lena Coggins from the Canals National Dance Company. So get your tickets, Harkwheel, next weekend, Friday and Saturday, right? And we're going to give away
Saturday and Sunday.
Sorry. Well, there was a Friday one year, but I was away.
Yes.
Right, 2021.
Good memory.
Yeah. I remember the night. It was a Friday then. It's late. I like to write down. All right. So next Saturday and Sunday at the Harkwheel, and we have tickets that we're going to give away. You have to keep listening so you find out when.
Yes.
Everybody have a great weekend on Monday. Join Mr. Art. Come back for Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.